Welcome to
What's Up Poland?
the daily video show
Where
we talk about
news,
views,
culture,
history,
life.
everything Poland. John, Poland is the best place to live in Europe?
Not surprised, mate. Doesn't surprise me at all. I love living here.
So patriotic. Well, it turns out that the people living in Poland also like living in Poland.
Well, I'm
if you're
not surprised, mate.
There's been for the fifth year in a row, I've been doing my research looking at the original report. The European Commission have produced a report on the quality of life, and it's based on interviews with 58,000 residents of European countries.
Sure.
I think there's one less European country than used to be from the European
Well,
Union.
European Union, yes.
And it turns out that this data, which is collected from these 58,000 interviews and across 83 cities, has some surprising information about quality of life indicators in Poland. For example, Białystok residents are I don't want to say second row, but not one of the bigger cities. Białystok is in the northeast of Poland.
It's a regional capital, right? But it's certainly not a massive metropolis or anything like that.
It turns out that they are the least affected by crime because 94% of the people surveyed in that city said that they hadn't had any money or property stolen, which was actually much higher than the average across the EU, which was 83%. What struck me as I went deep into the research, get into the weeds, like to look around, really get into the data tables. What really struck me is there's this big north-south divide. I'm not talking about Poland here, I'm talking about the European Union. So, I think about Greece, Italy, Spain, quite sunny, happy places. It turns out that the quality of life indicators there for the south of Europe were really quite bad. I don't know if you'd agree, Poland sometimes gets a bit of a bad rep for being a kind of miserable place, maybe miserable people, a bit cold, maybe,
that's just a kind of standard stereotype that's been knocking around for decades.
It is, and as you've already said, it's a stereotype, and the data here shows the fact that it's not true, because whether it's Gdansk, which did really well for quality of life, or Białystok, the people living in Poland report really high satisfaction with life. They're happy with their local environment. Gdansk doesn't do so well, it has to be said. You click on the link below this article, you'll be able to see on healthcare services, but it had a 97% satisfaction rating for a good place to live in general, and being satisfied to live in the city. So surprised me really that Poland quality of life is as good as it is, because Poles are also notorious for complaining about things
all the time.
Are you one of those Poles?
No, absolutely not. I mean, actually, I tend to agree with what you've been saying. I love living here. I think, the quality of the services are absolutely fine. I've got nothing really to complain about. Maybe on, if it gets really cold and the air quality also goes down. I think that's my biggest bone of contention.
That was one where Poland slipped a little bit. By the way, Zurich is the top performing city out of all, and they were quite careful not to rank against each other. You know how these European sensibilities can get offended. But as you're right, the public transportation service is fantastic.
It's great.
There's a lovely voice on
That
the Warsaw
is.
Metro.
Yeah, and not just the metro, actually. It's it's on buses and trams. And
whose voice is that, John?
I think you'll find it's mine, Paddy.
Well, I think in that case, it's worth saying that the next stop will be one of John's stories. Maybe you should announce that.
Yeah, okay. Next station, John's story. Convenient change for something interesting for a change.
Ooh. But he does that in that voice. You can't say no. I'm taking that stop. I'm getting off right now. I want to go somewhere else. I want to go my story. No way. All right, I'm going there.
Let's do it. But first, click on the link below.
Yes.